In the next set of tutorials, we're going to look at creating a basic room nice and early on. It's going to be simple in terms of a basic block out. This will at least ensure we have something within the engine nice and early on, and we can essentially walk around it and start placing basic assets in there nice and early. So firstly, what I've done is I've created a Maya file which has the scale reference of the character in there. So if you just find that on Blackboard, I'll just open it on here. I'll tell you where it is via email at some point. So this is the default UE4 character. Its height is absolutely perfect in relation to UE4 and Maya. So whatever we output at this point, as long as it's matched in terms of scale in relation to this character, then it will be identical in UE4. So we shouldn't have any scale issues. So we shouldn't see any tables which are clearly 300 foot high, anything along those lines. So download the file. You can either just import the mesh, this specific element, or you can just open the file. So we've currently got a floor in there. I'll just press delete. I'm going to turn my grid back on. So before we attempt to make a basic room, we need to make sure that we have him, and we also need to make sure we have floors, walls and ceiling. So easiest way to do it is initially set up your grid. So make sure that your grid is set up correctly. I'm just going to press Ctrl M to bring back my menu. Oh no, it's not going to do it. For some reason my Maya, the shortcut keys tend to screw up, but never mind. You should see your main menu on here. If you can't, then just use the spacebar. So I'm just going to go to File, Grid, and the grid options. And you need to ensure that these are set to 1000, 100, and effectively this is 1000 is units is 1000 centimeters, so 10 meters. Grid lines every 100 units, so 100 centimeters, which is 1 meter, and it's going to subdivide that 1 meter into 5 lots. So essentially each one of these is going to be 20 centimeters. Make sure you are using some form of color coordination. So you can see my axis is red, my yellow grid lines, so every square meter is yellow, and the subdivision line, so every single one of these grey boxes is essentially 20 centimeters. So hit apply and close. Make sure you save your preferences with File, Save Preferences. Don't forget I've just pressed spacebar, which is to access the main menu. So once you've done that at home, you've saved your preferences, everything you create after that should be grid aligned, not slightly grid aligned, but scale matched within UE4. So firstly, we are going to make the floor. So I'm just going to use the shortcut keys. I'm going to press Control Spacebar to get in full screen. With nothing selected, Shift Control, sorry, should I say Shift right click for that matter, Shift right click and Polyplane. We're just going to go to the options within this, and mine's currently set up correctly, but regardless, if yours is set up to 1, 1 or something along those lines, so essentially we need to turn this into roughly a 10 meter square room. So as I said previously, 100 centimeters is a meter, so 1000 is 10 meters. So put 1000, 1000, and divisions leave 10, 10. That way when we create a grid, each one of our polys, our faces within there should be 1 square meter. So I'm just going to click create. And you can see that matches the grid, which we know each one of these yellow squares is 1 square meter. I'm just going to hide that now. So we're looking to make a basic room. So I would consider adding some detail on there. So let's assume we've got a little cubby hole here, so to speak. So we'll have that there. I'm just going to delete some of these edges. And what I'm going to do with this particular vert is I'm just going to snap it to here just to create some form of angle in the room. So I've just selected the vertices. I'm going to hold down V, drag the mouse button across with the left mouse button, and just snap it to this point over here. So now we have 2 verts here. So that's nice and angled. It makes things a bit more interesting. I'm just going to go into object mode. So that was obviously just right click, object mode. So you should know these basic processes by now. So I'm going to press shift right click, and I'm going to multi-cut, and I'm just going to essentially draw an edge from here to here, just with the left mouse button, and to there, and press return. And then I'm just going to press Q to quit out of the multi-cut menu. I'm going to go into face mode with right click. I'm just going to select these components and delete. That will do for me as a basic room. I'm not going to do anything beyond that. What I'm trying to achieve here is create a bit of visual interest in the room rather than having it perfectly square. Anything non-rectangular will be at least relatively interesting, I would think. So there's going to be my floor. What we're going to do now is essentially create the walls. So I'm just going to select edge mode, and remember how we have two verts over here. We can confirm that if I just go back into vert mode and select one of those verts and move it. You can see there clearly we still have two verts. So what we need to do is select everything, all the vertices, by right click, vertex, do drag select, shift right click, merge verts and merge vertices. The value is 0.001, so in this case this is more than adequate for my needs, and I'm going to right click, go to object mode, and this time around when I right click, click on vertex, select that particular vertex there with one click. When I move it, we can now see it joined up correctly. So I'm going to go back into object mode. I'm going to select the perimeter of my floor. So if I double click on this edge over here, it will select the entire perimeter. So I'm in edge mode, quick double click, and then we're going to essentially extrude this up. So shift, right click, extrude edge, disregard this. All we need to do now is in the Y axis just move this up. Just move it some random height for the time being, don't worry about it being specific, and then just press Q. I'm just going to go back into face mode, and I'm going to find an angle which allows me to select all my walls. So from the side view I can do a quick drag select. We just have our wall selected, and I'm going to press shift, right click and extract faces, and then I'm just going to press Q to get off that menu. So now what we have is essentially a floor. It's still in poly mode. I can get out of that by right clicking and going to object mode, and we have a wall. So there's our floor, there's our wall. What we can't see at the moment is the exact height of our wall, but at least we've got the character as a guide. So if we just shift him along, I'm just going to basically grab him by here and just drag him along. You can see the wall is probably just a tad low, so I'm just going to go into edge mode. I've obviously right clicked, go into edge mode, double click, and then I'm just going to move this up a touch, something along these lines. You don't have to align it to the grid. It doesn't have to be exactly 3 square meters high or 3 meters high or 4 meters. You can just drag it up at a random height and that will meet our requirements. So that for me looks okay. What I'm going to do now is right click, object mode. So if you notice, we have essentially a floor and a wall. What we don't have is a ceiling, but we do have existing geometry which we can use for that ceiling. I'm just going to click on the floor. I'm going to press Ctrl D to duplicate that floor, and now we can just move that up. So we should have two floors. We can just confirm that by pressing 4, and you can see we have 1, and obviously we have 2 there. Select our ceiling again. I'm just going to select that, and don't forget V will snap to vert. So I'm going to press V, click the left mouse button in the Y axis, and just snap it to the top here. So now you can see we have essentially a solid shape, almost like Space Invaders, I suppose. So we know that whatever is black is effectively not going to be seen from the outside. It will only show the inside. So we need to show that this currently, if we just zoom in, you can see it's black there, which suggests that we won't be able to see that in an engine. So what we need to do is just invert the polygons here, or the normals. So right click on it, face mode, select everything, shift right click, face normals, reverse normals. And now you can see that it's black on the outside. Obviously we can't exactly see inside at the moment, so what we can do is we can just turn on back face culling for those components. So I'm going to click the ceiling and shift left click the wall, and then what I'm going to do is go shift right click and polygon display toggle back face culling. And what's going to happen now is only going to render the inside of the room and not the outside of the room. Obviously we can see now, you can see your ceiling and your floor, and when you zoom around it, it will just hide everything that doesn't need to be seen. Obviously we should save this at some point, I suppose. I need to go file save as, to be fair. So I am just going to go file save as, and I'll just dump it on my desktop, and I'll just call this test env for environment. I'm just going to save that. My menu's a tad large at the moment, so I'll just save that. Continue. So as far as I'm concerned, this is more than adequate for our needs at the moment. We do need to put Windows Accessor in there, but we'll do that later on once we've exported this out.